So if you imagine that I had some object and I told you about the object, I showed you the object, and here's the object, beautiful candle, and red, bright red color. And I showed you this object and I said, I'm going to go, put this object in the ocean and at the bottom of the sea. And your job is to go dive under the ocean with your mask on and find the object. Okay. So it's pretty straightforward. Like eventually, I guess, given enough time, you would eventually find this thing, right? Because here it is, the phenomena, right? You can find this, here it is. You can identify it, you can point to it, and you could eventually find it if I hid it somewhere and at least gave you a rough idea of where I'd hidden it. We kind of operate with a similar sense. I mean, we're not really thinking about this, but all the ways that we seem to know what is happening here, our knowledge of what things are, is in a very real sense, this feeling we have that we're able to point to what it is. There it is. There's my fear. I'm having an experience. I tell you, I'm afraid. And there it is. I can see it. I can feel it. I can recognize this pattern. Let's call it a pattern of experience. My fear. And I can also notice how, as part of that, being able to identify the fear, I can also recognize its distinct flavor, its distinct signature, right, from some other state, like, I don't know, happiness or anxiety or relaxation or whatever the experience is, right? But here's the question, and I want to explore with you, and that take anything you're experiencing right now, doesn't matter, a thought you might bring to mind, some feeling that's being experienced, some sensation, like a sense of touch, the light that's appearing, you would call light, the sounds that are, it doesn't matter, just pick anything that's happening right now. And it doesn't matter, eyes open or closed. And tell me, can you find what that phenomena is? In other words, can you come to a conclusion of, so for example, light, is a very obvious thing. With your eyes open, you're seeing what we would call light, right? Light reflecting off of things. I have one of these little circular lights for doing Zooms like this, and I can see the light there. And so something's being perceived. What am I actually perceiving? And that's not a intellectual question. It's like, find what light is. And what I would suggest is I could give you, from now until the very end of time, we'll just take a few moments to do this, but you'll never ever come to the finality of what any of your experiences are. You'll just find more and more and more and more. Oh, that's what the light is. It's that, or that's what sound is. It's that. It's oh yeah, sound. What's sound made of? Oh, it's made of vibration. Oh, cool. Vibration. Okay, well, is that actually telling you what it is? Well, explore the vibration. What is vibration? It's some kind of pulsing movement. Cool. Okay, so what is that pulsing? What is, and you just go down the rabbit hole and you just keep looking and just keep looking and just keep looking. And you'll just look forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And you'll never arrive at what makes sound sound. What is sound? In other words, what is the basis of sound? What is the the basis of anything. Feel your own consciousness, which is, we could say, obviously, this sense of knowing, of being awake. Oh, are you awake? Yes, I'm awake. I can feel awakeness. So reality appears as these seemingly nameable, identifiable phenomena, but look at your own wakefulness, your own consciousness, feel it, explore it, as if you were diving into the sea to find my red candle. Dive into the sea of your knowing, the sea of your consciousness, and tell me, do you find what it is? What it's constituted of? What makes consciousness consciousness as distinct from something else? As distinct from sound or thought? You'll look forever and ever and ever, and you'll never come to a final, you'll never find the candle. You'll never be able to identify, oh, there it is. There's consciousness. It's that. That's what makes consciousness consciousness. That's what makes a thought a thought. That's what makes discomfort discomfort. Look at the body. Feel what you call the body. Same thing. You'll look forever. Feel into it. It's a feeling. It's non-conceptual. Something's there. This is the paradox. Something's there that you can identify as the body, as distinct from some other there, like the chair you're sitting on or the cushion you're sitting on, whatever you're sitting on. This is what I mean by free fall. You never land, you never get to the bottom of the well. Now you've arrived at your conclusion of what consciousness is, or what thought is, or what light is, or what sound is, or what fear is, or what joy is. And not finding the bottom doesn't make, funny enough, the recognition of all these distinct phenomena go away suddenly, and everything just becomes this blank nothing, unfindable nothing. Everything's showing up in all of this incredible flavor and texture and quality, and right? And yet it's all empty of findability. It's you can't find, it's like if you were to try to determine what any physical, so-called physical material object is, right? The physicist is faced with the same thing, like, oh yeah. If I look carefully enough, I can see that the wood of the table is made of various, molecules. Oh, cool. I found it. I found what it is. It's made of these molecules. Oh, no, look a little bit more carefully. What are the molecules made of? Okay, I'll look at the molecules. Oh my God, those are made of these things, these smaller pieces, atoms. I found it. Everything's atomic. That's the basic nature of things, is atoms. Well, no, look again, because what are the atoms made of? Oh, the atoms are made of these subatomic phenomena. That's it. That's it. The subatomic particles dancing, so tiny. Okay, but don't stop, because what's the nature of those subatomic particles? What are they made of? What is the substance of those particles? What are they constituted of? What are the building blocks of the subatomic world? Oh my God, it's like these quarks, these well, now we can't really even say, we're sort of at that point. But we'll find, whatever the Higgs boson, the God particle, when they discovered that more fundamental, basic component of matter. But it always begs a question, doesn't it? We're always begging the question, well, what's that made of? There's always more. There's always more. That's what I mean by endless, infinite. And because it's endless and infinite, all of this that's appearing and experiencing, we actually can't ever know what it is completely, comprehensively. And in that sense, all of our concepts are wrong. At least the concepts are descriptions, right? And so if I tried to describe you, oh, this is, or pick any of you, this is what John is like, this is what Sheila is like, this is what Zoe is like, this is what Gary is like, this is what Dennis is like, this is what Charlotte is like. I'll never be able to do that, right? I'll never be able to capture, right? Because I take any of you and I just look from now again until the end of time to determine what makes Gary Gary or Charlotte Charlotte or John John or any of us. I'll never get to the bottom, right? In any aspect that I might find that seems to make each one of us who we are, some characteristic. This is kind of you could say the fractal nature. Then look at any of the characteristics and explore what that is made of. And then you find whatever that characteristic, oh, they're shy. Okay, then look at that characteristic. You see, it's just infinity all the way down, infinity all the way down. Feel the open-endedness of this, the indescribability of this. All of our narratives about what's going on, how we're doing, what we seem to be experiencing, what our circumstances are like. Do we like them? Do we not like them? Do we wish they would be a different way? Do we need more of this kind of experience? And on and on and on and on and on. Have I found what I'm supposedly supposed to find through these kinds of investigations? And it's like the finding, if there's a finding, is that this is unfindable. But we can find that. We can feel the way, by exploring, we'll be met with the unfindability. We will not find the red candle. We will not arrive at the bottom of the well going, Eureka, I've come to the final conclusion of what makes joy, joy, and fear, fear, and thoughts, thoughts, and sounds, sounds. I will never. I mean, we could say everything is made of life, I'm often, as part of this inquiry and helping to evoke that sense and that discovery that everything is of one nature, that this is a singularity, a single reality appearing as all this multiplicity, I will sort of reduce all of this to something like presence or luminosity or wakefulness or beingness, right? All these different things that we could say are primal, to all of the diversity, right? Like fear is present and joy is present. Fear is and joy is. It's the isness, the beingness, the presence is basic to everything, isn't it? We could say, just using descriptors. But that still begs the question, well, what is presence? Feel the presence of everything right now. The unavoidable presence, the inescapable presence of everything, the presence that never goes away. That sense of here-ness, of it's solid, it's in a sense, in its here-ness, in its existence. And then ask yourself, what is this that's present? What is this life, this existence? This sense of being, the most basic sense of this. The fact that something is appearing, that something is present. And again, we'll never find the essence of life, what it is. What is life? What's the, metaphorically speaking, like, there it is. I identified what life is. I got to the bottom of it. Has no bottom. Can you feel that? It has no bottom. Just keep looking, and you'll just keep looking and looking and discovering more and more and more and more. That's its richness. It just keeps showing more and 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 more. And whatever you find as that more has more, and it's infinite. You are infinite. Every moment's like, welcome to infinity. Oh yeah, you think it's this? No, welcome to infinity. Welcome to boundless infinity. I mean that actually literally, not poetically. It's incredible, huh? Every experience is made of infinity. So infinity is what you have. Boundless infinity. Nothing ever really becoming finite and limited and definable, even though it seems to. That's the magic show of form, the magic show of all of this. Oh yeah, we appear to be quite finite, don't we, as beings, quite definable in certain respects. And so does the world we finite beings seem to be living in, right? But this apparent finiteness and definable nature of what's appearing, it appears as definable, don't get me wrong. It appears limited and formed and differentiated. But all of it is, in its essenceless essence, unformed and infinite, and without any possibility of final conclusion about, aha, now I know what it is. Now I know its essence. I mean, just look at yourself. What is the essence of you? It's essenceless in the sense of being infinite. That infinity has kind of flavors. You know how each person sort of has their kind of, we could say, a sort of a flavor, kind of a, right? Like everything shows up as flavored. It shows up, the infinity shows up as findable flavors, sweet and sour and salty and bitter. But investigate any of those flavors, salty. I know what it is. It's salty. I know exactly what it is. It's salty. Okay, what makes salt the flavor of saltiness what it is. See, everything is a doorway into infinity. The simplest thing, the salt on your eggs in the morning, it's infinity. So in a way that makes in a very real way, makes the inquiry easy, because you don't have to go somewhere else. You don't have to go on a retreat to find the infinity. You don't have to do anything in particular to find the infinity, because it's finding you, in a sense. It is you, and it is everything. I guess the only reason we seem to miss the infinity of it, the boundless nature of it, the unknowable nature, is because we imagine we know what it is, right? That's it. We just think we know. We think we've figured it out, in a sense. Oh yeah, I'm in a room. Really? Yeah. I could say that, and I could feel as if I have some knowledge that I'm in a room, as opposed to being outside. But the room consists of what? What makes a room a room? It's like everything about it, every little detail. I mean, how many details are there in my living room where I'm sitting right now? There's an infinite number of details that make up the room, right? But we make these kind of sweeping, generalized sort of statements. My friend Peter Brown had this wonderful saying: the world is not made of generalities, it's made of specifics. The generalities, that's the conceptualized world. I say something about that person. It's a generalization about who they are and how they seem to be. It's not, I'm not dealing with the specifics, because once you start to deal with the specifics, you're in infinity, because you're in the infinite detail. That's the specifics. Oh, that little specific detail of just the way, the shape of the, I've got like these faux bricks on the walls, then this one wall of the living room. I think they're faux, maybe they're real and they're painted, I don't know. A particular color of those, and the shape of the sectioning, and the way that they're kind of spaced together. And it's like that detail, that's part of the room, isn't it? But I can completely talk in a very general sense about being in a room with totally avoiding dealing with those specific details, like those particular, the color of those bricks and the shape of them and the texture of them. It's irrelevant, right? I don't have to deal with the specifics. I can just make this general, very sort of oversimplified statement that I'm in a room. But the room is filled of countless, really infinite details, and each of those details of the room that make up this gestalt called the room, everything about it is what the room consists of, right? Because if I take one of the details out of the room, it's no longer the same room, right? Now it's something different. This room is made of these infinite details that make up this room. And each of the details is made of infinite details. Again, you're down the rabbit hole, always down the rabbit hole. But the rabbit hole is, it's not some nothingness, it's just endless richness, right? Because you're always finding something, even though you can't pin down what that is. So it's very curious. It's like, it's there and it's felt, but it's unfindable. But it's there and it's felt, but it's unfindable. That's the magic show of reality. There's a rainbow. I see the rainbow. It's glorious and beautiful. And then I go to find the rainbow and I got nothing. I can't find anything. There's no rainbow, but there's the rainbow. It's paradoxical. And that's the emptiness dancing as form, we could say. And the form that's fundamentally empty of identity, of essence, of findability, of self-nature. It's not just that we can't find a self-nature, we, the apparent individuals, that focus in a lot of traditions on finding the self. It's everything. All the phenomena are empty of self-nature, i.e. empty of being able to be identified as, there it is.